it's Cherie from Big Notes Get Votes, and today what I want to pose to you are 3 things that you can focus on in the next 3 days that are going to lay a really solid foundation for your voice and setting up vocal care habits that are going to help you improve your confidence in your singing and your performance. Now, the concept is that there's 1% increments that we're going to use and layer one over the other over time so that we've got solid, strong foundations. And seeing as our body houses our instrument, we're going to start with the 3 key elements to focus on in the next 3 days to make sure our bodies are the case for our instrument is in great working order. Now, the reason I just want to focus on 3 things in 3 days is because I get a little distracted with all the things that I have to juggle as a professional singer, as a vocal coach, and a mum. And I really want to make sure that I look after myself and keep focused on the big picture, whether I'm performing in 2 days' time, which I am, or not performing at all. Keeping a strong base level means that I've got this really solid ground zero. And that's the concept of these little 1% increments. And we're going to kick things off with sleep, hydration, and nutrition. So let's talk a little bit about each. Number 1 is sleep. I think for everyone in the world, getting the right amount of sleep is essential for cognitive brain function, for being able to increase energy levels, repair, rejuvenate, just feel refreshed and engaged with the day really consciously because your mind is firing on all cylinders. Now, sleep's different for everybody, but for most adults, you definitely want to be getting at least the very minimum 6 hours sleep. Ideally 7 to 9 hours, and some people require more. And I think it's something that you need to track and work out how you feel over an extended period of time. Now, I love my Fitbit. I use it to track my sleeping patterns. You can get an app that syncs with your Fitbit and it gives you a sleep score. The premium app gives you tons more in the way of a report that gives you more insights into the quality of your sleep. So I highly recommend getting yourself something that you can track. Some phones even have apps that you can track on. So my goal for the next 3 days is to get 7 hours sleep. If you're out of routine or you have weird hours that you're having to navigate, kind of like musicians, I don't want you to get hung up on the fact that you need to be going to bed at a certain time and waking up at a certain time every day. In an ideal world, that would be optimum. However, we just got to roll with things. When I'm on tour, I often get very little sleep. So I might need a disco nap to catch up and make up the extra sleep that I might have lost from a late night to an early start. But the bottom line is I'm aiming for 7 hours. And I'd like you to figure out, firstly, how many hours you need. And let's aim to hit that over the next 3 days. The next thing is hydration. Now, I use a very, very generous hydration calculator, which I sourced from the Livestrong website, which is exercise, very athlete focused. And I think singers are athletes, so I want us to apply this same tool. And now the formula is 0.03 times your body weight in kilos. That gives you a litre amount that you want to aim towards. Now, if you're eating a lot of fruits and vegetables that have a high water content, you will get a percentage of that amount taken care of right there. And we'll talk about nutrition in a second. However, you can aim towards getting that particular amount by using a water bottle, or I use my sippy cup that's empty because I've just drunk my water. And I happen to know that this is 472 mils. So I aim for 2 of these a day. And because I'm human and like to be human and not turn into an animal, I also drink coffee, but I drink it out of a mug like this, which is also 472 mils. So I'll have 2 coffees in the morning like this. I'll have 2 of my sippy cups of water, and I'll also try to have 2 of those mugs of licorice tea. And then I've hit my hydration goals for the day, along with the added water content that I get from my nutritional plan. There are also a ton of apps that you can pop on your phone that can help you to track your water consumption. When I talk about nutrition as something that can help you, I'm not talking about any specific rules. I think you have to do what's right for your body. But what I'm looking at is the nutrition that might trigger any adverse effects in your body and make it a little harder to sing. So for some people, dairy really triggers excess phlegm, but not all people. So you can monitor your dairy intake, you can use alternatives, dairy alternatives, or you can just be really mindful in the 3 days leading up to an important performance and remove those triggers out of your diet. And that goes for all of the elements that we have identified can have an impact on your voice. So the other things that can impact your voice are acidic foods. You might find that if you're eating anything that's too spicy or too acidic, can actually give you some reflux. So that's the gastric acids that can move up your esophagus and touch your vocal folds. It will definitely compromise your vocal folds, and because of that, we want to make sure that we maybe aren't eating those kinds of foods too close to bedtime when we might be lying down. Or if you find yourself in that position, just prop yourself up on a couple of pillows, and hopefully that will mitigate any potential reflux that you do have. If you suffer from something a wee bit more serious like GERD or continuous reflux, you might have been advised by your medical professional to take some antacids or something that balances those pH levels so that you're not having that reflux situation. Sometimes we don't even know we have reflux. It's called silent reflux. You'll find that particularly when you wake in the morning, you might notice a little bit of rasp to your voice that you might think is just you waking up and your voice waking up. But I want you to also just quickly think back over the last few days about the food that you've been eating. If there's been anything particularly acidic, particularly spicy, or maybe dairy or anything else that you know triggers you, check in and maybe try a little elimination when you've got a few days clear in front of you, no gigs, and you can test out and document and maybe write it down in your vocal journal to see what the variables are, and then you can be more intentional about keeping your nutrition on point so that it supports efficient singing and pretty much just good living. If you have any questions about these 3 focus, so sleep, hydration, and nutrition, over the next 3 days, pop a comment below and I'll look forward to answering them. See you in 3 more days for 3 more tips.